Hey guys, what's up? It's Tyler Kluver. This is the Snapped Podcast. So glad that you're joining me. On this podcast, we're going to talk about diet, exercise, mindset, training, sports, performance, and any of the things that we discuss, me or the guests that I bring on, is going to help you get better and help you get healthier in some way or another. We're glad you're here. Sit back, relax. Let's have it. Tried to do this yesterday. Got completely deleted. That's really sad because it's not really sad. What's up, everybody? It's 2021 and life is what you make of it. Life is how you perceive it, and perception is a thing that you have control of. You can change your perception. That's not what today's podcast is about. And hopefully we don't get too long-winded. As I said, I tried to do this not yesterday, but 2 days ago, actually. I went for 20 minutes, first podcast of the year. It wasn't really the best. It didn't turn out like I would have liked it to, at least in my head. And when I went to go edit it and figure out how it did turn out, it was completely gone. There was no audio because I was messed up when I was recording it. So hopefully this records and we can start this off right. It's 2021, new year, new me, right? That's what we're talking about. Title of this episode is going to be Getting Better Using Intention. Getting better using intention. Something that I am, really what this podcast is about is, by the way, you heard that new intro, right? New intro. Everything we talk about on the show is how we're going to get better or healthier in some way. Back to the story. Getting better with intention is today's topic. And what that basically means is a lot of people want to get better. In fact, I would argue that everybody on earth wants to be better at something, whatever they care about, whatever their priority is, right? We'll get to priorities in a second because that's part of this. But just wanting to be better obviously doesn't get you to that end goal, right? Say you got a freshman basketball player. He wants to be better at shooting free throws. He wants to be better. He watches NBA basketball on TV, college basketball. He watches all the good games, the good players who are good at free throws. They're shooting a percentage that he would like to shoot himself. He wants to be better. But that doesn't make him better, right? Him just wanting to be better is a great first step. It's good, fleeting motivation. But he needs to do a couple other things, like actually do the work and do that work with intention to get to better, whatever that better is, right? And so intention is kind of the topic of today. I want to start by sharing my intentions for the new year, because I think intentions are better than resolutions. And I don't even necessarily like the idea of intentions because it leaves it up to, oh, I intend to do something, but it may or may not happen. Because this is a foregone conclusion for me, and it should be for you. You have to make it non-negotiable. Talk about that in a second as well. So my intentions for the new year, both in business and personally, I have a new exercise routine, a new 12-month strength program that I'm starting next week. By the way, I want these podcasts to be a yearly thing. That is one of my intentions for the new year is I intend to put out a snapped podcast every Wednesday of 2021. There may be a couple where maybe I'm on vacation or just taking a week off, but the intention is that I put out 40 plus episodes of this podcast this year, every Wednesday. And every Wednesday, there's going to be a new topic. I really do hope, I say in the intro, that I'm going to bring guests on. I do plan on bringing guests on that I see fit the mold of somehow getting better. It's a pretty wide topic. So, and I know a lot of cool people who could talk about getting better through physical or mental health or mindset. So that's one of my intentions this year. Another one of my intentions this year is to go through this 12-week strength program and then enter into a cutting program, kind of with my own personal exercise, nutrition goals. I have a few diet goals that are on the nutrition side of things that I'm specifically focused on. I intend to read a book every month this year, which is no tall task by any means, but last year I made it through like July. It was 7. I made it through half the year, and then I started reading a big book, and it took me too long to get through, and then I kind of just quit on it, right? Everybody quits on something, even if it's a small thing that doesn't really seems insignificant. My intention is to get through the entire year with that. My intention is to do a lot of things this year, and that's all good and great. And you have intentions as well. Maybe you call them resolutions. I want you to think of the most important of those intentions or resolutions that you've set for yourself this year. Because I think the first idea here is that it's hard to focus on a bunch at once, especially if you're changing something or if you're starting something new or completely cutting something out. Those are big habitual behavior type things that don't come easy. Don't expect to be able to just do 12 or 15 of those, right? We should focus on the really important ones that you hold at the highest priority. Okay. So pick your top 3. Now ask yourself, for those top 3 intentions, have you actually written down a plan of action, a plan of attack? Practical steps, practical behaviors, actual things that you can do that are going to reinforce that intention as a new behavior, as a new part of your day to reach a goal. Because if you haven't, you're probably going to have some issues, because writing things down tends to be one of the best ways to actually make things happen. Okay. A lot of people, they set their intentions, they set their goals for the new year, but they never write it down. And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. Some are scared because their goals are, you write your goal down. Now that you've written it down, it sort of makes it a little bit more real. Now I have to figure out how to get there. And if I don't, this is really where it comes into play. If I don't figure out how to get to that goal or how to consistently do this new thing that I want to do each day, each week, then I fail. That's what's behind not putting it out to the world, right? People don't like to actually make those intentions real, write them down on paper. You heard the old post a sticky note on your mirror so you can see it every day. I remember in high school, I used to print out a sheet of paper and post it on my door, my bedroom door. See it every day. At Iowa, when we played football, there was a lot of good quote material that they would put in our lockers, just for food for thought, basically. And a lot of guys would post those on the inside of their lockers as motivation. And that was pretty powerful. You see something every day, you read something every day, it reinforces that in your head. You start to think a little bit different. And people know that subconsciously. So they don't write their goals down. They don't write their intentions down. So if you want to accomplish something right now, get out a piece of paper, get out your notes app, get out a sticky note, write it down. Because that's step 1. Step 2 is actually breaking it down and figuring out the action steps. All right. For me, on the new program, I want to get stronger, right? That's my overall arching goal, is I want to be stronger. I want to get a little bit more muscle on my body. For me personally, in my exercise goal for the year. Okay, that's great. I wrote it down. Awesome. But what are the action steps? You got to have a plan. Very hard to pick a spot on a map and tell Google to, you type in a destination on Google Maps, and it says, okay, where's the starting location? Right? There's no directions if you don't know where you're starting, if you don't know where you begin that journey. So you got to write it out, figure out where you are, and figure out the steps to get where you want to go. You can't just say, I'm going to get stronger. Okay. You can't just say, I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to eat this, and that food, right? The action step for that would be, all right, every time I make a grocery list, I make sure to put on there, even if I'm lying to myself in the moment, I'm going to put on there that I'm going to buy my vegetables and my clean food. And then when you go to the grocery store, when that food isn't on the list, well, it's easy. It's not on the list. I'm not buying it. But when it is on the list, it makes you think. It's that action step of, oh, I put it on the list. I'm here. Might as well throw it in the cart, right? Things happen when you write them down. Intention, right? Not just a goal, but intention. I think that the final step in making your intentions, your goals, your resolutions, whatever you call them, become a reality and become part of your life, part of who you are, it takes a reorganizing or a realization of new priorities. And the best example is this. There's a fair chance that you already have or you will brush your teeth today. You either brush them in the morning or at night, or you do both. But I'm willing to bet that everyone listening to this podcast will brush their teeth before the end of the day today, right? I don't know a lot of people who have brushing their teeth as their hobby, right? They just like brushing their teeth. Some people do like doing it, but no one does it for fun, right? Like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna go brush my teeth. That's because those 2 minutes when you brush your teeth are non-negotiable for almost every single person on earth, right? I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of places that don't have that ability, but for America, people who are, living fine, have access to a toothbrush, they're brushing their teeth every day. And that's because it's been drilled into our heads that brushing our teeth is important. The importance has been demonstrated. And we have made that 2 minutes of the day non-negotiable. It's completely okay to use that 2 minutes instead of doing something else because it's good for me in the end, right? You have to make your intentions, your goals, your resolutions non-negotiable. And again, I'm talking those top 2 or 3. You can't make 15 goals non-negotiable. Now you've added 3.5 hours to your day, and it's just going to be too much to keep up with. Go one at a time. Once you make those non-negotiable, you're waking up and there are no excuses. It doesn't matter if I am sick as a dog. I'm working out today because today is my workout. I'm working out 5 days a week. Okay, well, on those days that I've told myself I'm going to work out, it doesn't matter if an earthquake hits, I'm working out. It doesn't matter if the rest of the family goes and gets whatever for food, I am eating the meals that I told myself I'm going to eat. It's just non-negotiable. There is no out for it. It has to become like brushing your teeth. Intention. That's how you get better. I'll leave you with this. At Iowa, when we used to train strength conditioning, I watched a lot of guys, and for me, for those of you that know me, which is probably most of you know who I am, so the long snapper doesn't get a lot of playing time on Saturdays. So a lot of the fun for me wasn't necessarily the games, but it was the training in the off season, the time spent in the weight room and out on the practice field doing running drills, stuff like that. That was my go time. That was my game time, right? And I watched a lot of guys who were way more talented than me not reach their athletic potential, strength potential, speed potential because of the way that they worked out. They went through the motions. They came there, and a lot of them, they eventually wash out, but you see it. The guy comes out to lift. He's going half speed, not going quite as hard as he could, not winning the reps that he could. Gets into the weight room, doesn't really attack the lifts like he should. Nothing crazy. Can't really pick it out if you're just passing by, but if you really pay attention, they're not using their full intention to get better. Then there are guys like me, who I'd like to consider myself one, and a bunch of other of my teammates from the past that would absolutely bust ass. 100% effort all the time, intentionally trying to get better, using the most effective way to get better, to get stronger, to get faster. Those are the guys that succeeded. And those are the guys that ended up with the goals, reaching and achieving the goals that they set out for themselves before they started that process. You got to use intention if you're going to go somewhere. It can't just be a fairy word bubble above your head in the comic book that says, "Oh, I want to do this." Use intention to get there. Appreciate you listening. There will be hopefully another episode next week if I come through on my intention. I've now spoken it to the world. So anybody that listens to this, you can give me shit if there's not another episode next Wednesday. All right. Again, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.